Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be working on this EG coupe that is on the lift right now. I have to fix a couple things on it before we can put it on the dyno. There was some oil leaks that he wanted me to address and try to fix up, and the intercooler piping was not connected on the bottom. So I'm going through and I'm just kind of draining the oil out of it so I can fix the leaks that are on the oil pan. And now, you know, just kind of went through and used his piping to the best of my ability. I don't really think that this piping is really going to hold too much power, but I think it'll do okay for, you know, say 10 pounds or so, which is what the stock map sensor can do. So I did tell him, you know, hey, this intercooler piping really might not be the best just because there is like a Fernco plumbing coupler on the intercooler here, and just some of these are just, you know, they're a little not great. So I did what I could with the piping that was supplied, and we're just gonna try to make it work. So this is just an eBay kit with a B16 engine, and yeah, I'm draining the oil out of it. We have to fix the return line as well because the return line actually went under the intercooler pipe and then back up into the oil pan. So he was thinking that his turbo was leaking because of the way the drain line was ran, which is a very high possibility. So I'm going through and I'm fixing some of these plugs in here because he did not have like any sealer on the pipe thread side of things that goes into the oil pan. So like any Moroso pan or anything like that, they all have pipe thread fittings for, you know, your drain line. And he actually thread taped the wrong side. So this is thread taped on the AN side, the Army Navy side down here. So you can see where the thread tape is. That's definitely not the side you want to thread tape. You want to thread tape the pipe thread side over here. And I don't even use thread tape. I use RTV on any pipe thread fittings. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pipe thread or RTV the pipe threads, get it all back together, and then I'm going to redo the return line so we can get the drain line ran better so it doesn't have gravity fighting against it. And then we're going to fill it back up with oil, bring it back down onto the ground, drain the fuel out of it because it has pump gas in it right now and he wants to tune it on E85. So we're going to drain the pump gas out, go get some ethanol, come back, and then strap it onto the dyno. Alrighty guys, so we got the car off of the lift, and now I am draining the rest of the fuel that's in the car out of it. Just hooked up a hose onto the return line, running it into this gas can. So we're just draining out the pump gas that's in it. The wastegate was messed up, so I had to fix that too. He's missing some bolts on the top of the gate. There was an oil leak coming from the turbo. I'm hoping that's going to be fixed now since I fixed the drain line. It's actually running pretty nice, and it's not going up into the pan anymore. It's gravity right into the pan. And refilled it back up with oil. I checked for leaks. Everything is good to go. There's no leaks anywhere. And yeah, now like I said, I'm just kind of burning out the rest of this pump gas. Then we're going to run to the gas station. I'm going to get some E85, come back, get this thing strapped down. And yeah, this thing freaking stinks though. Like, holy shit. It's like giving me a headache just having it idle in here with the fans on and the door open. So, I don't know why, but like something in the exhaust just smells really bad. Fucking pump gas stinks. Alright guys, so we got the EG coupe here all strapped down on the dyno. The reason that the exhaust was smelling so bad is just because that the fuel that was in here is 7 years old. I was actually just told from the owner this car has been sitting for a very long time, and the fuel that was in the car was varnished. And when I say varnished, ooh, it stunk. It gave me a headache. So we got some fresh E85 in the car now. We pulled all the spark plugs out of it, and the plugs that were in it were like the NGK 6s, and the gap was really big. So the gap on these was way too big. We like to run around 18 to 20 thousandths on a lot of these, and sometimes smaller on higher horsepower. So we got a set of NGKs in, 8s in there, because he'll be good for up to 400 wheel with those plugs in it. So we're going to see what we can do. It's going to be tuned on HTS. We're going to use the factory map sensor for now, and the wastegate. We do not have a boost controller currently because the controller that he had was like one of the cheap eBay ones, and it was actually causing a vacuum leak. So I deleted it, we bypassed it. If we want to add a different style controller, I have one here so we can turn it up that way, or he can add a spring into the wastegate. So, but car is running good. Did you check the oil chart? Okay, so oil's topped off. We put fresh oil in it. We fixed all the oil leaks. And now I think it's ready to spin up on the dyno and kind of get some tuning done on it. Well, had a little mishap on the dyno. We just got it strapped down. We were setting the gear ratio, and the oil line actually burned onto the manifold. So we're going to try to replace this line. Hopefully this one that I have at the shop is going to fit. That was kind of my bad. I didn't really catch the line. I should have had it tied off of the manifold, but after I fixed all the leaks and stuff like that and we put plugs in it, I think I had cut a zip tie that was holding it and spaced out. I forgot that the line was not, it was touching the manifold, so we got to fix it. All right, guys, we got the new oil line installed. Let's try this again. Yep. And cut.
We're good? Turn the sucker off.
Well, guys, I think we're out of fuel pump. Air fuel was totally fine until a little bit into VTEC, and then she just started going lean. Alrighty, guys, so we were working on this EG coupe over here, and the gas that was in this thing, I'm just going to say it 10 more times, is so varnished that you can probably smell it through the camera. So we started doing some pulls on it. The car seems to be running pretty good, but Michael actually was watching, Michael was watching the fuel pressure gauge, and when I was doing a pull, the fuel pressure gauge, as soon as I would punch it, it would come up to like 50 or so, and then as the pull continued, and then when VTEC hit, the pressure just went bleh, right down to like 20 PSI. So that fuel pump is definitely weak. And possibly the filter too, just because of all the varnished gas that's in this thing. So the customer was actually here when we were dynoing the car, and he's actually running about an hour north of here to go grab a fuel pump and then come back. So hopefully we can get that pump installed, and hopefully it cures the problem. But like I said, filter might need to be replaced too if the pump doesn't take care of it. But in the meantime, I have this EG hatch that we had on the dyno the other day. Now it is on the lift, and we are fixing to put the oil sandwich plate on it, so hopefully VTEC will start working. So we are under this thing, and there is some oil leaks, looks like coming from the transmission or something like that, and we have to get that line out of there and the filter off. So we're going to try to get some of this stuff removed off of here, and then hopefully be able to put the sandwich plate on and hopefully have VTEC work on this car, because I think the reason the VTEC isn't working is because they have the VTEC line coming off of the oil pressure sandwich plate on the bottom there, has to make a 90, then go all the way up to the head. So we're going to try to run it from a sandwich plate, and if that doesn't cure it, then it's definitely something in the cylinder head, or you know, the VTEC plugs or something weren't put in right, or I don't know. So we are going to try that. If it doesn't work, we'll move on to something else. All right, guys, so we got the oil sandwich plate installed onto this car, and sucks, but it still has the same exact problem. So I don't think it's a supply to the head issue. I just tried a new VTEC solenoid for the hell of it. That didn't fix it. And I have an oil pressure gauge coming off of the front of the head here, and it has 70 pounds of oil pressure coming off the head. So I don't know what is causing this thing to misfire in VTEC only. It runs totally fine out of VTEC. but as soon as VTEC engages, it misfires like crazy. So I checked the lash, I checked what I could see in the cylinder head, everything looks okay. I really don't know where to go from here. I was gonna try a different distributor, but I don't have one here to use. I don't think it's a distributor. I cleaned the cap and rotor off. It's got super small gap plugs in it. So even if the distributor was a little weak, I don't think that's gonna be the problem. Yeah, I'm really kind of lost at this point, but we are putting a new fuel pump in the coupe that's on the dyno. The owner actually told me that it was a 255 that was in there, but this is the pump that was actually in the car. So this is a factory pump. 100% this is a factory pump. So factory pump definitely not going to work. But we got a new Walbro 525 and we're installing it right now. So we're going to catch up with you in a minute. Hopefully get some dyno pulls done here with this thing. Alright guys, so the car is actually having a little bit of breaking up issue because the TPS, the throttle body setup on the car right now is overextending. So on this throttle body, there's actually a throttle set for the idle and there's a throttle stop. So if you go too far, it will overextend the TPS, and whenever you overextend the Honda TPS, it cuts off. So you'll have an issue where the car will start breaking up or bucking if the TPS, that's why it's always good to calibrate the TPS, which you can do through the tune, but there's only so much if you're actually overextending the sensor. So that's what kind of what's happening here. And we had to adjust that stop so the throttle won't open as far. It's still gonna be wide open, but it's not gonna be overextending to the point where the blade is gonna kind of almost start going back on itself. So yeah, we fixed that. And that's what that stutter was on that last pull, but it still ended up making some pretty good power. We made 224. It's only on a few pounds of boost, and this turbo is super tired. It's not really making great power, but we're gonna keep going from here and maybe trim up some fuel, fix some of that stuff, and then change the VTEC set point. Will make this graph look a lot better. right, so we've been having a ton of like weird bucking and jerking issues. And it turns out the TPS is duct taped. We don't know why, but every time Trevor wiggled the TPS, the car would run good and it would run really rich. Like it was getting an intermittent TPS like ground or something. Like, yeah. Can't really make this stuff up. What?
No, you could.
I mean, you could. But. So we're just kind of unraveling the duct tape and we're gonna see what's underneath it. Is that right?
We're taking her clothes off.
Right.
Oh, there's a little bit of oil right there. I almost just... Oh, wow. Look at the pin for the fucking...
Oh, dang.
It's broke, that's why. This is supposed to be
Hang on, let me see.
a housing on the inside.
Okay, so that might be our issue. That might be
Plug looks alright.
The plug looks fine.
Yeah, it's the TPS sensor itself is fucked.
Okay, just leave it unplugged once and we'll see if we can maybe tune it without a TPS. Just because these guys are trying to drive this thing home. So we're doing everything we can. Well guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today because we need a TPS for this thing. I tried tuning it without it, but it's just a bad idea. Alrighty guys, so I kind of cut off on the video there and we ended up working on the car the next day and we fixed the TPS sensor. It was janky, super broken, just didn't really work. Yeah, duct tape doesn't really fix a TPS. So we ended up fixing that and the car ended up running really good. After we fixed that, there was a couple other little bugs that I had worked out of the car. I actually made like a list of all the stuff that I fixed on it and sent it to the guy. He was super happy by the time he got the car back because it ended up making 370 something horsepower, 380 maybe, on E85 and about 12 pounds of boost. Super good. The turbo was definitely a little lazy, like it was just wore out. Super old turbo, but it ended up working good. Car, I mean, fucking burned all third gear. Ended up working really good, like I said, but we had to work out a ton of bugs with it and we had to fix some things and I figured I'd share it with you guys. Like I said, I did make a list and I posted like the stuff I fixed on that car on my Facebook just to like show everybody what we all did. And so the customer kind of knew like, hey, this is the stuff we did. Yeah, maybe sometime soon I'll dive in and I'll make like a checklist for people before they come to the dyno, because obviously you guys know that I've had quite a few cars that have come in and we spend more time working on the car than we do tuning it. So it's a little bit annoying, but at the same time I'm glad to help and I'm happy to help a lot of these guys because, you know, 2 hours in my shop for the most part can get done 2 months of work that these guys got to learn. So, and they can learn a lot from the videos and stuff like that. So hope you guys are appreciative of that, and possibly if I can make like a video kind of dedicating like, hey, this is kind of a basic checklist that you guys can go through before you bring it to the shop, so it saves you money at the end of the day, because unfortunately my time is not free. Dyno tuning is one price, and fixing stuff and doing all the other stuff is another price. This car came in with like it came in with a completely stock fuel pump, and he wanted to tune it on E85. It had the injectors, but it didn't have the pump. It had a bunch of oil leaks that we had fixed. We had to fix that oil feed line, the TPS sensor. We had to change the spark plugs that weren't ready for the car. Just a couple other things. I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining. I'm really not. I just, kind of want to maybe help you guys, just so it saves time at the end of the day when you come in for a dyno tune. Just so stuff goes a little smoother. This car did take up like 2 days of my time because of that. But like I said, I'm glad to help, and I'm really honestly grateful for the business and thankful for all the customers that I do have. So just remember that. And lately, it's been like a week since I filmed that video. I have a ton of other videos coming and I want to know your guys' input. I have a ton of more Honda content coming with just customer cars and stuff like that, and tuning content, but I have been doing some other Honda stuff. down here on the Honda Groms, and I'm really having a ton of fun working on these bikes lately. This blue bike here, we did some engine work too. I have a tuning software and I tuned the fuel map and stuff like that on this bike. I think it was a ton of fun, and I want to know if you guys want to see that stuff. If you do, drop it down in the comments and let me know. It just sucks because the Honda content, you know, kind of is what thrives on my channel. And I'm trying to focus more on what you guys want to see. And every time I post something that's not a Honda Civic or Acura Integra, you guys don't watch it as much. I noticed that I get like triple or quadruple the views if it's a Civic video or like a Honda video than I do with anything else. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna try to, like I said, I'm just gonna try to cater to whatever you guys want, so we can kind of grow the channel and make it better, I guess. But at the same time, I want to share the stuff that I want to share and show you cool ass Groms, like my green one here that I also filmed a video on. So you guys let me know. I have a wide variety of content that I can share with you guys, but I also, at the end of the day, you know, I can only do so much, you know? Yeah, so anyways, have a great night, better tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later, and hopefully show you some more content very soon.